All right, guys, we're just turning on Facebook Live at the same time because I know certain people, their internet is not real fast, so we're doing this half on free conference call, half on my Facebook page. Both will be recorded, and we'll probably put whichever one looks the best and is the clearest up on YouTube. So if you happen to miss anything, because I've been told I talk too fast many times, you'll be able to go back and look at that. Mazel's here. What's happening, sir? So just in case, somebody did ask me how long this will go. I'm not really sure, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. 45 minutes was kind of my goal, but typically it ends up being, close to an hour. I don't really want to go over an hour. So the goal is under an hour. It might all come out faster than I thought. I don't know. We'll just see. Welcome, welcome. People jumping on from all over the place here. So it will be recorded is my point. Getting out some invites. Some people have asked me to send. Can anybody believe it's the end of February already? Like, that just doesn't seem possible. I thought we just started this year. Yep, Dave Roeder says I talk forever, so this is going to take forever. So I hope it doesn't take forever, though. Brendan's here, Sherry's here, Judith is here, Tony's here. So what's happening, guys? If you don't already have a pen and a piece of paper, you might want to grab that because there might be a couple things to write down. Lewis is here. What's happening, sir? So we're about 3 o'clock. Waiting for Bess to jump on. That way we can get rolling here. And then, of course, we had the time difference. That was also fun. People are like, well, what time are we doing this? Rich is here. What's happening, sir? I hope everything's going well down there. I saw some of the flooding down in Tennessee. It is amazing. And your friend that told you about the snakes trying to get out of the wet, that's actually true. I've been in a situation where that happened in Pennsylvania. It was pouring and everything, including snakes, was trying to get out of the water. So it decided to come up into the cabin, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I saw Knoxville. I saw it was kind of sad because I was looking at the Jack Daniels distillery. I was like, I hope that place doesn't wash away. There'll be people, fortunately, there'll probably be people driving to Knoxville to help rebuild that one for free. So Tom's here. What's happening? By the way, Tom, as soon as this is over, we'll go grab food if you're available, because I haven't eaten yet. Just got out of an interview, which was really good. Interviewing somebody new to come on board with us, which is really cool. So, waiting for Bess to jump on here, and we're ready to go. So here's what...
You heard me, Becky, but hold on, I'm here.
Okay. Welcome, welcome. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start muting out everything. Bess will be on here in just a second. And we're also going to record this.
All participants are muted, and they can unmute themselves.
So I'm trying to run 2 things at once here. We have free conference call with a bunch of people. We've got online with a bunch of people. Shar, how are you? So just waiting on Bess to jump on here real quick, and then we will get rolling. If you don't have a pen and a piece of paper, you might want to grab that, because you never know, there might be... I've found that sometimes, like, somebody says, like, one word or one phrase that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the missing piece. I've been looking for that. Sat with an insurance agent last night, a good friend of mine. We were actually discussing how to meet people and what to do, and he's been using the particular insurance company he works for has scripts, and most insurance companies have scripts to use. And he's like, man, I've been trying their scripts for like he's been there almost 2 years. He's like, I've been trying their scripts for almost 2 years, just beating my head against the wall. You know, normally it's kind of like I either get hung up on, or, you know, they obviously don't want to meet with me. He's like, and the funny thing is I was just so frustrated the other day. This was Friday that he was kind of having this conversation with himself. He's like, I heard your script so many times, I actually used it on somebody that I had just met. And he's like, and I booked the appointment within 30 seconds. He's like, I actually couldn't believe how fast it worked. He's like, then I turned around and thought, well, if it works for one person, I wonder what else we could do. And in one day, on Friday, he booked 11 appointments. You know, some of it was follow-up work from previous conversations that he talked to. But that's a pretty good start. So Bess is here. Let me bring her on here. And I am also going to show them.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for waiting. I had a little bit of an urgency, but glad to be here. What I'm going to do is intro Jeff. This is a real special call today, and then I'm going to hop off and let him take the show here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. So we want to, I want to introduce everybody here. Jeff Gamble and I teach together in our generic school for network marketers, the MLM Millionaire Club. And people in this school have been using Jeff's favor script and other methods that we're teaching to jump ranks. They are signing up people. They are getting appointments like never have before, and really making movement in their business like they never have before. So we're real happy and proud of these are the best methods that I've ever seen in all of my 40 years of being in this network marketing profession. So why this class? Because our students have been asking, well, your methods work really, really well. And now that I've talked with all of my warm market, all my friends and family, what do I do now? And so leads are the way to explode your business. And Jeff happens to be an expert at this. And the way that he teaches leads is the best that I've ever seen. Jeff is 23 years in network marketing and direct sales. He's built 2 MLM teams past 5,000 customers. He's personally recruited over 500 people frontline. That is a lot. And he's been a top recruiter in 3 different companies. And he's taught the system that he's about to share with you. He's taught this lead system to others who have become network marketers. So I invite you to grab your pen and paper and hold on to your seats, and here we go. And Jeff, I'll exit now and let you have the full screen.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And Bess and I started working together because I just started sharing with her, you know, some of the methods and things that I had used over the years that worked. And when stuff like that works, what I find is you just want to get the information in front of people. I got so discouraged years into the business that, you know, I was just so thankful that certain people came along and helped me and saved me a bunch of time. So that's one of the things we're going to do today. So just real quick, what are we going to cover here? We're going to cover why leads. We're going to cover what works and what doesn't. I'm going to go into the science of leads, like the numbers of why it works and what to do and how to do, and then the art of leads. But I'm also going to talk about you've been discouraged to do leads. There are certain companies that discourage leads, and one of which is my friend's company in the insurance business was discouraging leads. And unfortunately, there was another company that kind of similar to his that's using leads. And I have friends that went to the company that uses leads, and their first year inside of the insurance business, they were breaking $250,000 and $500,000 in personal income. And that's rare. That's rare. Why is that rare? The average insurance agent earns $11,000 their first year, earns $30,000 their second year, earns $60,000 their fourth, earns about $80,000 their fifth or fourth year, and then the fifth year, by 5 to 6 years, is when most people, if they stick with it that long, will break into 6 figures. Most people do not do that. Hello, Amy. Hey, Brian. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over why leads. We're going to go over what not to do. We're going to go over the science. We're going to go over the art. And what I want to do is start with my story. So I saw network marketing when I was 17 years old. At 17, obviously, I didn't have a business background. I didn't have a car. I also didn't have, a big database of people. I didn't have the business connections. And I also had no training. Hi, Lori. Um, so there was a lot of things I didn't have, and there was a lot of things I didn't know. Obviously, you can't know how to build a business at 17 unless you had been around other people who had built a business. And my mom is a school teacher by profession, and my dad is is an artist and a college professor now. Um, Lisa's with us. What's going on? So that was kind of how I grew up. I grew up in that teacher setting mentality, in the school setting mentality, and I was basically told, like many of you, go to school, get good grades. If you get good grades, you'll get into a good college. If you get into a good college, you'll pick a career, and you can work for somebody else the rest of your life, making no money, and retire just like us. And I looked around. And I think I saw this really early. I remember thinking at 13, I don't want to do what all the rest of these people are doing. Like, and at 13, I was into skateboarding at that time. And I was like, started making the connection. I was like, there are people who are really good at skateboarding who are making good money. And I don't know if it was like some video or some article I read. I think it was an article I read in a magazine. At that time, Tony Hawk, which is a famous skateboarder, for those of you who don't know, was making six figures as a teenager skateboarding. So I started making the correlation that if you get really good at something, a sport, you can make great money. And I was like, I'm not a tall person, so basketball is pretty much out for me. And what I mean by tall is I'm not even 6 feet tall. So like basketball was out for me because everybody that I saw across the board that was playing basketball professionally and was good at it was above 6 feet. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty much out there. And I know somebody's going to write me and be like, Bugsy wasn't. And I was like, I know that there's one or two people, but like on average, I didn't fit the bill. On top of the fact I wasn't coordinated enough to play basketball. So that kind of put me out right there. The second is I liked football, but I realized that people playing football, I was basically 5'11" and 135 to 140 pounds in high school. Which is basically the same weight as the clothes rack. So I was like, I'm not going to be a professional football player. Why? I don't weigh enough to be able to. Now I was fast. I was real fast. A friend of mine said I probably should have played soccer, but soccer wasn't really interesting to me at that point in my life. So I was like, I'm not going to make it in soccer. So then I looked, I was like, okay, so if I'm not going to make it in professional sports, I was like, I'm looking for some kind of alternative thing to do. I didn't mind doing what other people didn't think was popular because number one, I just didn't care. I was like, I liked skateboarding way before skateboarding was popular. And most people just, they weren't into it. They're like, oh, skateboarding's stupid. And I was like, well, did you know this guy makes six figures? And I remember saying that like when I was a teenager, and this was before the internet and anybody knew really kind of that whole industry. And most of my friends were like, that's stupid. We don't care. Heidi says hello. Hello. So I'm just kind of giving you a framework of where I came from to understand why leads were such a help to me. So I don't do well in school. In fact, and I tell this to people just to kind of give people hope more than anything. Like I was such a mess growing up that at 13 I was locked up. And what I mean by locked up, I came to my mom and kind of told her where I was at mentally and what I was feeling, and I was depressed and breaking down. And it concerned her enough to call a professional, and the professional basically, without her telling everything, I mean, she only got 10 minutes in, said, yeah, you pretty much need to lock him up right now. So then I went and did an evaluation with somebody, and I ended up inside a stress center. Now, I was so bad. Like, everybody else got to sleep in their room. I was so messed up, they wouldn't even let me sleep inside a room. For those of you who know about this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you may never relate to this, and hopefully you don't. But I was such a danger to myself and others. They wouldn't actually let me sleep inside without 24-hour supervision. So for like the first couple weeks, I had 24-hour supervision. I wasn't allowed to be without somebody actually visually seeing me. So that's just kind of where I was at. I spent 6 weeks in there. I think it was like my freshman, junior, or freshman, sophomore year of high school. So yeah, that makes you really popular. So I didn't have the social skills, is what I'm saying, to be able to do anything I'm talking about at all, that I'm about to talk about at Leeds. So here I am. I get back into society, as normal people would. I finished high school barely. I did get a D in speech class. I failed chemistry at least one of the 6 weeks because we were on a 6-week schedule. Failed chemistry, failed English, failed freshman English. So I was taking 2 Englishes during my junior year. And I say all this, I wasn't a good student. I was failing. Like, my mom's a teacher in the school system. My dad's a college professor. My stepmom is an English major. So, like, I would send a Christmas card. I would send everybody a Christmas card, and half of my family would correct it in red pen and send it back. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, that's the kind of family I grew up in. It wasn't real warm and friendly and fuzzy, although my mom's awesome now. My dad's pretty much to the point, you know. He's kind of got that C-type personality. So this is just where I was. I figured out a way to lie my way into college would be the best way. And I say lie, I turned in everything and I made up this great story of why they should take me. And I got into a junior college, like a 2-year. I did really well the first year because it was the first year that I was on my own, able to do what I want. But more importantly, I saw network marketing when I was 17. And when I saw network marketing, I fell in love right away. And I fell in love because I was like, okay, this is that alternative thing that I can do, kind of like skateboarding. It's not real popular to a lot of people. I thought it was great. I thought everybody would want to do it. I don't know if you had the same feeling I did. You see network marketing, you see these companies, you see these marketing plans. The guy, this was actually my girlfriend's dad, who drew out the marketing plan for me, and he drew it out all the way down to 6 figures. When he drew it out down to 6 figures, the first thing that I personally realized was, I was like, if you built this 10 times the size of what you just showed me, you could make $1 million doing this. And he's like, yeah. Now, I was ambitious, but I was ambitiously lazy. Like, I wanted to work as little as possible and make as much money as possible. So I was a person always looking for the shortcut. Now that was not good. That hurt me really, really bad when I got into business, but I was always looking for the shortcut. I was always looking for the fastest. I was looking for the fastest way to do things, not the best way. So understand, there's a difference between the fastest and the best. I was just looking for the fastest way to do it. I didn't care if you followed the rules or if you got all the right results. I just wanted to get there as fast as possible. I learned later that you should do things the right way. So that's where I was at. I see network marketing. I'm 17 years old. I lie on the application. Literally, I did. I lied on the application, said that I was 18, got in, and I went to my first, what they call an open meeting or business briefing. And I'm sure if you've been in network marketing for a while, you've been to one of these. And I saw all these people in this room. I mean, there were probably 250, 300 people in this room in Indianapolis when I got started, when I was 17 years old, turning 18 that December. And this was probably in December that I went to my first meeting. And I saw all these people, and I was like, I want the success that these people are having. But here's what I realized. At the front of the room, everybody went across and said what they did. And there was a dentist, and there was a doctor, and there was a hospital administrator, and there was a construction worker, and there was a commercial real estate guy, and there was another real estate guy, and there was a teacher, and there was an international freight shipping guy, and everybody had a profession. I was the youngest person in the room by at least 15 years. And here I am with long hair down. I was wearing a black leather jacket. I was wearing a white, I think I wasn't wearing a white, I was wearing a concert t-shirt of some kind, jeans. And basically, I look like the guy that people would warn you about, like, be careful if that guy's in the room because he might take something. Like, that's where I was. And it was that bad because I think it was that year or the year before, I had the exact same outfit on. It was kind of like my school uniform of anti-socialism. I went to school. I was actually out in front of my parents' house during the holidays. It wasn't the 25th. It was like the 23rd, 24th. I was over there for Christmas. This was in Plainfield, Indiana, on, if you guys know the street, if you're from the area, 267 and Main Street is where my dad's house kind of sat on the corner. I was out front just walking around the yard. Like, I was literally just outside, taking a breather, walking around the yard. Somebody called the police. They thought I was casing the house. The police actually showed up, and my dad had to verify that I actually lived there and was like a family member. So I'm kind of giving you this setup of who I was to get you to understand when I started talking to people and contacting people in network marketing, and I followed what they said to do. They said, the first thing you want to do is make a list. You've probably been told this. Make a list. Make a list of everybody you know. I was like, okay, I did that. And my list was short. Why? Because I was 17, 18 years old. And I looked at my list, and most of the people on the list weren't even old enough to join the business. And they said, okay, so this is your list. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get excited. And I was like, okay, I'm excited. Because, at 18, you're excited about stuff that probably isn't important. But I was excited. And they said, and then you're going to contact these people. Now, back then, there was no Facebook, and there was no Instagram, and there was no really mainstream email system. There was no text messaging because there were no cell phones. This was BC, before computers. And we were told we had to pick up the phone and call people, which was really weird. So here I go from using the phone only socially. Hey, what's going on? You know, are we going to get together and skateboard? Like, literally, those were the conversations just prior. And now all of a sudden I'm calling people, setting up business appointments. I was like, well, how do you do that? They said, well, you're going to say, hey, I have something important to talk to you about. When can we talk? And then you're going to set up the appointment. Okay, that seems pretty easy to me. I mean, I do that all the time. And like, hey, when can we get together? You know, okay, I'll be over at your house in an hour. That was kind of, I was used to doing that with skateboarding. So I was like, it's no different. I didn't have any fear of doing it because I hadn't had any negative reaction to anything yet. So I was like, okay, cool. So I started setting up these meetings and I would go over. Now, this was a period of time where there were no DVDs to show people. We really didn't have a VCR tape to show people, you know, and I'm dating myself talking about VCR tapes. I understand that, but I'm just kind of going back and telling you where we were at. We actually had to physically draw out the program and tell people what it was. So I go over, and at that time, I didn't know what I was talking about, so I actually had to bring somebody with me. Hi, Lori. Hi, Charlene. So I actually had to bring somebody with me. I brought my upline with me. So here I am bringing my girlfriend's dad, who's my sponsor, with me to show this to my friends. And we set up and we kind of went to McDonald's and Burger King and these different restaurants and sometimes to the houses. And we sat down and we were physically showing them, Steve's here, what's happening. We physically drew out this plan. And I went through my whole list pretty quick. I don't know if you felt this feeling. I went through my list and basically I got a lot of, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I hate this. Diana Rice, do the call in. Okay, so I got no results. Like I a lot of negativity, you know, that doesn't work. A couple of my parents' friends said, well, that sounds illegal, because they had never had any experience in business at all. So anything that wasn't a 9-to-5 job would seem illegal to these people, because nobody that this was funny, nobody that I knew made over $50,000 a year. And here all of a sudden we're talking about doing something where you could make $100,000. I mean, does that make sense? So to them, it just seemed weird, you know. I realized most of these people had never been introduced to anything entrepreneurial. I kind of early on was entrepreneurial. I was like, I don't want to work a normal job. I'd rather deliver papers. I don't want to work a normal job. I'd rather work construction with my stepdad on the side and do my own thing. Like, I thought, oh, I should create a lawn business, or I should create this kind of business or that kind of business. Dave Peters is with us. What's happening? So I was entrepreneurial. I didn't realize that's what it was called, but I was entrepreneurial right away because I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to run my own show. I didn't want anybody else to tell me what to do. Like, so the whole idea of going to a company where they told you what time to show up and what to do, like that, I was so anti that from being around my family of them telling me what my schedule had to be. Like, I hated that. I never actually liked the idea of school or working for somebody else because pretty much I realized there was an authority over me telling me what to do. What I didn't realize is most people are attracted to that. I was against it. Most people are attracted to it. And the reason most people are attracted to it is most people are looking for the easiest, simplest way to do something, and they just want somebody to tell them what to do. And I know most of you are like, oh, that's not me. And I will argue and show you, if you want to sit down, why that is true. Most people do not want to take the responsibility of figuring it out. Most people would rather just tell me what to do. Just tell me the answer. You know, I hear this all the time. Just tell me the answer. Tell me what to say. Well, think about it. What should you do? I don't know. So I already was trying to figure it out. That leads us to me basically running out of my people to talk to. I run out of my list. I don't know if you felt this. I run out of my list. So I'm like, okay, now what do we do, geniuses? I made my list. I contacted everybody. I showed everybody the plan. And I showed a lot of people, guys. I had shown over 100 people the program that I was in at that time in the first 6 months. Now, I will tell you that is more work than almost, if we took a group of people on this call, that's more than 80% of you have done combined. And I know that for a fact because I've worked with so many people in the industry and I've seen this happen. You know, you talk to 5, 6, 7, 8 people. Now, you've talked to the same person 10 times, but you haven't talked to a lot of people. Like, I picked up the phone and I called my uncle in New Jersey who made over $1 million. And here's what I thought. I thought because he already makes money, he's going to understand this and get it and want to do it with me. And what I realized is A, I had no leadership. B, I had no credibility. And C, he already had other businesses and he didn't look at this as anything that he wanted to do. He already was making the kind of money that I was wanting to make. So I was like, well, if we did it together, and he was like, that's not really what I want to do. So understand this was really all about me, what I wanted. I didn't understand what anybody else wanted. I didn't even see what anybody else wanted. It was all about me, and that's all I wanted to do. And that's how a lot of people approach it, unfortunately. So I beat my head against the wall, and then I showed up to events for the next 8 years. 8 years. But here's what I was taught to do next. I was taught the 3-foot rule. So you go from your list and friends and family, you're taught the 3-foot rule. This is the part where they teach you to go out and meet people. All you need to do is meet people, tell them you're excited, tell them you have an opportunity, get them the information, and they always tell the story about one person in the history of the company that signed up and did very well, and that's the story they parade in front of you over and over again inside of these companies. Right? I mean, I don't know if you've heard that story of the guy that was at like a flea market and he dropped a DVD and another guy found it and his label was on it with his information. He listened to it on the way home and he called the guy and showed up at the meeting the next week and he got started and he became a millionaire. And there's one guy like that in every company. And that's the story they tell you over and over and over again. So all you have to do is go to the grocery store. All you have to do is hang out at Walmart. All you have to do is go to the gas station. All you have to do is walk around Target and hunt people. All you have to do is go to the mall because there's one guy that signed up somebody at a mall in some foreign location and he built the business to $1 million and you should do it too. And that's how it works. So what do? We all load up on DVDs and we load up on magazines and we get our business cards with our website on it and we go out and we try to be professionals, right? No, there's nothing professional about what you do. You just go out and spam people. You throw websites at people, and now people don't even want to now people are really lazy. They don't even want to go outside. They're like, how can I do this and sit at home on my couch and watch Lost? I want to watch reruns of my favorite show, and I want to just sit and send out some websites and make this work. Now, if it really worked that way, the opportunity would be over. There'd be no opportunity. There would be no companies left. This would be all over. If it really worked like that, this would be done. There'd be no ability for you to make money. So what I'm saying is I'm going to talk about some hard work that you have to do, and understand it's a good thing that it's hard. It's a good thing that it's uncomfortable. It's a good thing that it's not popular. People are like, I just can't wait till this gets popular. Understand, the minute it gets popular, it's over. It's over for you. You'll never make it. Because the minute it gets popular, everybody who really knows and has the skills to do this will jump in the industry and destroy it. And what I mean by they'll destroy it is they'll move so fast because they have the leadership skills, because they have the people skills, because they have the marketing background, because they have the social network to do this with. It'll be over just like that. You've seen a couple people jump in the industry who have done this. There have been a couple real estate guys. There have been a couple professional athletes. Not many. Most super successful people don't do well in network marketing. The reason being is they use their influence rather than a system of normal people can do. Les Brown has been in a ton of network marketing companies. To date, he's never been able to make 6 figures that I know of. Brian Tracy has been in a ton of network marketing companies. He's never been able to make 6 figures in network marketing. The list goes on and on. All the gurus, none of them do really well. Why? Because they use their unbelievable experience and they don't give their team tangible stuff to do that the average person could do. And that's what we're going to talk about here, is what the average person could do. So I beat my head against the wall for 8 years. I walk around malls. I hand out DVDs. I try to get people to go to my website. And the rejection coming back was bad. I mean, it was bad. Chasing people, following up 700 times. Hey, did you watch the DVD? Hey, did you watch the video? Hey, did you watch the video? Hey, did you watch my video? Hey, I was just getting back with you. Text message, remembering who to talk to and who not to. Guys, I hated it. I got to the point where I was like, I'm done. I'm out of this. I'm never going to do this again. Thankfully, I happened to be in real estate at that time, and I went to a seminar. And my story is I was in school, when I first saw network marketing, I was in high school, and then I went to college for a brief time at that junior college, and then I ended up transferring to a 4-year college because my girlfriend transferred a 4-year college, and I was like, well, I should probably go there because that would be a better time to be closer to her. So I ended up in Cleveland, Ohio. I went there for a year and a half, and then eventually I was like, why am I spending $20,000? It was a private college. Thankfully, I got in because of my grades in college, not my grades in high school. Because I was so excited about the business and what I was learning for the business, I applied the little bit of stuff that I knew, the little bit of motivation of do your best and start looking at things. I applied that towards my schoolwork. And what I realized is I wasn't stupid, I was unmotivated. I was just unmotivated. I didn't have any drive. So all of a sudden I had the drive to do well, and then I was able to get A's in everything that I was doing. So I got all A's my first year of college, and that actually weighed more towards a scholarship at the 4-year degree, at the 4-year school, than my girlfriend at the time, who was graduating magna cum laude. I graduated, thank the Lordy. She graduated magna cum laude, and we both ended up going to the same school, and I get more money than she did. Why? Because it counts better in college, but I was motivated. So I get to college, I was there for a year and a half, and then I realized this is not for me, so I got on my own, and I end up in the mortgage business. Now, when I get into the mortgage business, you know what I knew about mortgages? Nothing. I didn't know, like guys, this is how dumb I was. I didn't know that a mortgage was connected to a house. I asked in our Friday meeting, the first week I was in the business, the first week I became a loan officer for this company called Cashback Mortgage. You can't look them up because they went out of business because of other things they were doing wrong. But I started in this business in Cleveland, Ohio, and I start with these two guys, and they said, look, we'll bring you on board. And on our Friday meeting, I asked, what is a mortgage? They're like, you're kidding. Like, the one guy was really sarcastic. He's like, you're kidding me. He's like, you really don't know, do you? I'm like, no, I'm literally asking, what is this? He's like, that's the loan that's attached to the house. They call it a mortgage rather than an auto loan. So there's auto loan, credit card loan, mortgage loan. I was like, okay, got it. Mortgage is connected to the house. Like, they didn't have a great training program, obviously. So I was like, okay, so that's what we're selling. We're selling the loan on the house, and we get a percentage. Yes. We had a lead program. Now, here's what I was told in the beginning. They're like, guys, we have a lead program, and if you'll follow exactly what we tell you to say in the order to say it, you will have success in doing this. And I was like, okay, that sounds pretty easy. I mean, that sounds simple, right? So we had a telemarketing department at that time. The telemarketing department would bring us leads over, and then the guy at the beginning of the day would divvy out the leads once in the morning, once at noon, and once in the evening. If you stayed late, they divvied them out again at 5 o'clock. So we would go, we'd pick up our leads, and we'd sit down at our desk and we'd call and say, hey, this is Jeff Gamble from Cashback Mortgage, and the reason I'm giving you a call is your information had popped on our desk, and we're able to give you a free evaluation to see if we can save you money. Do you just want to see if we can save you money? And most people, the way that I did it, I took what they said and then I just said it my way. I did things, instead of calling people Mr. and Mrs. like the script said, I called them by the first name. So I was able to get to the right person right away. So there were certain things that I was figuring out how to do from all this personal development training. Like I was listening to a lot of personal development during that time. I started using the stuff that I learned. Like, people like to hear their name. So if you use their name, especially their first name, like Francisco just jumped on and Lori just jumped on, if you use their first name, people like that, so they're going to be more attracted to you, which is kind of the art of doing this. So I was using their first name, I was getting in front of more people, and all of a sudden my number of sales started going up. And it started going up so fast that they actually thought that I was faking or filling out fake stuff. And then I had to prove that I wasn't doing that I was really doing it right. And they actually sat next to me for half a day, and they're like, well, damn, you're calling 3 times as many people as everybody else. And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't care. I wasn't doing it to impress them. I was doing it because I was trying to figure it out and liked what I was doing. I started crushing it. And here's the thing. Listen to this. We never met the person. All the mortgage stuff was done over the phone. All of it. So people were literally saying, okay, I like what that sounds like. I would send them a packet in the mail. Watch this. They would send me back a full filled out application. They'd send me pay stubs. They would send me their work thing filled out. They would send me all of their personal information. So I had their social security number. I had their birth date. I had their address. Now, this is 20 years ago. 20 years ago. sight unseen. People just sent this information. It wasn't like one person, and it wasn't low income people, and it wasn't certain people who didn't. I mean, it was people across the board, people who made a couple $100,000 all the way down to somebody who makes $20,000 who was in a $15,000 house. People would send all this information in, sight unseen, to a company they had never heard of, in the mail. And I say this because some of you are in disbelief that people would listen to you over the phone on a lead call about network marketing. Guys, I have friends that were selling $250,000 to $500,000 houses, investment houses, over the phone, sight unseen. The people never saw the house and bought the house. And my point to this is if you have the right lead and you have the right script, you can sell anything over the phone. You can market anything. But the key is having those two things and understanding how it works. So getting to my story, I start doing this. I start selling mortgages and selling a lot of mortgages. And I became one of the best people at it. Eventually, I realized there was some other things going on in the company I didn't agree with, so I left. I then got sick, came back to Indiana, worked for a couple other mortgage companies, never really figured out the right ones, and that's how I ended up, kind of going off and doing something else. And then eventually I see network marketing again, get in a couple different times, and I'm just learning along the way. And eventually I hit this program called By Referral Only, and I learned I learned the idea of building a database. So a lot of this idea stuff kind of clicked along. It took me years to compile all the information before it all kind of lined up and clicked together. Eventually, I keep getting told inside these network marketing companies, no leads. And then eventually I hear about this guy who, in his first 5 years of this certain company, was the #1 recruiter every single month, back to back to back to back. 5 years straight, 60 months. This guy closed between 10 and over 30 people every single month for 5 years. Now, here's part of the key. He had been in network marketing before and burnt through his list already. And I was like, that's interesting. And I was like, I wonder what he was doing. What was he doing differently? Well, the first thing is he was doing leads. So rather than the 3-foot rule of going out and hunting people, he had a lead system where people were coming to him. So there's a couple things that does. One of the biggest things that a lead system does is it gives you unbelievable confidence that you're never going to run out of people. And if you have unbelievable confidence that you're never going to run out of people, and this is a never-ending stream that's going to come in forever, then all of a sudden your ability to relax and focus on what you're doing, your objective of marketing your program, becomes easier rather than, oh my gosh, how am I going to go find somebody? Because if your whole focus on how am I going to find somebody, then you're not really focusing on getting good at presenting and doing all the other things you need to figure out how to do. So it builds the confidence of having these leads come in. So we've kind of moved from, into the science part of this, and obviously this isn't in order, but the science part of it is, why leads? It gives you unbelievable confidence. Another reason why leads is you can have zero background in the industry, and you can do just as good as somebody who has all the experience in the industry, right? Another reason why leads is because certain people come in and they have this enormous network of people that they built in their lifetime because they were involved in sports. And I've met people like this, and honestly, it drives me crazy, and B, it makes me sick. And the reason it drives me crazy is because I'm like, this person could go so fast if they wanted to. The reason it makes me sick is I realize I just didn't grow up in a household that taught this stuff, but if I would have, how much better would I have done? Like, I didn't have you heard my story. I didn't have any of the advantages to do this. I basically had all the disadvantages. The mental blocks, the depression, the problems, no people skills, I didn't have a mentor growing up that taught me any of this. I learned it all by accident. It pisses me off because I'm like, certain people have all the advantage in the world and you guys could take off. But what leads did is leads leveled the playing ground. I realized I could do just as good, but here's what you have to do just as good. You have to have a lot of people buy leads and they suck. And the leads aren't the problem. The system is the problem. Because I can take the same leads and I can close them out and I can build a huge business. Somebody else can get those leads and get absolutely nobody. Why? It's the process you're leading people through and what you're saying. And we'll get into some of the details here. The very first thing that you need to know when you get leads is what process you're going to take them through. And what I mean by what process you're going to take them through is, how are you going to initially contact them? What are you going to say to them when you get them on the phone? And then where are you leading them to? Here's what's generally taught. James Woods is here. What's up? Here's what's generally taught in network marketing, and it's the same crap that I see every single day, is get a lead, tell them you're excited, and then send them your website. And my thing is if that worked, it'd be over. If that really worked, it'd be over. You would have no opportunity. And for those of you who have tried this, how well does it work? You're obviously on this call or on this Facebook Live because it didn't work, right? You've been trying that, and it doesn't work. It hasn't worked with friends. It hasn't worked with family. And I'll give you the reason why it doesn't work. Is because, and Char's saying that doesn't work. Anybody else on here say that doesn't work? Because Facebook is like, certain people are just typing it in, it doesn't work. So if it hasn't worked for you, put on here, it hasn't worked for you. If it has worked for you, great. But it doesn't work for most people, and here's why. What I realized is if you take the history of network marketing back before the internet and all this different stuff, is it was built off of influence. So certain people have influence over other people, and they're able to call them and say, hey, let's get together, and it's really easy, and they get together with them, and they sign people up, sign people up, sign people up. I was always taught inside of direct sales and network marketing, you want to go at your level and above. I was always taught to recruit up. Recruiting up means you recruit people who make more money than you. You recruit people who have more influence than you. You recruit all this stuff. It's very hard to get in front of that person, but if you can get in front of that person, you use the right system, and you can get that person in, and you can teach them to recruit up, eventually you can go from somebody who was like me, like who was a negative 16, and you can get to 0, or possibly you can even get to 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Now this is the reason why websites came out. Number one, it was for compliance issues. What companies realized is I might have a great presentation that's compliant, but somebody else on here might make some crap up and say the wrong thing, and all of a sudden the company's getting sued. So they said, you know what we really need to do? We need to make a presentation and just tell everybody to use the same presentation so we can stay compliant. That's one of the biggest reasons. Here's the second reason why they want you to use the website. Is the sale on the front end is it's easier. Oh my gosh, this company is so simple. All you have to do is show people this video and they get in. The reality is everybody's sitting in the room shaking their head going, bullshit, I've tried to use that and it doesn't work at all. But you're shaking your head yes, because your prospect's in the room. You're like, oh yeah, that works. Which is a conflict, right? Because you're saying yes because you want the person to join, but at the same time you're saying, well, I've tried that and it doesn't work at all. And it's that you're having that conversation, that conflict in your head. And I see it. And the reason I say I see it is because I was the one in the front of the room talking about it, and I was watching everybody's like eyes do this. And they're like, yeah, I kind of agree with him, but I kind of don't because I'm trying it and it doesn't work. I was teaching people not to send people to websites. I've been saying that for 10 years. And those of you who are friends with me, who have seen my trainings, you can go back and I have this recorded. Don't do that. It's on recording 10 years ago. I say, don't even do it. What you should do is you should actually physically learn the presentation. So let's get into leads in general. There are many different kinds of leads you can get. You can buy leads, you can create leads. A lot of people are like, what do I post on Facebook that'll work? You don't. Because if that worked, again, the opportunity would be over. There would be no training like this. Because if you could just post something on Facebook that worked and brought you people, it'd be over. The reason why that works for certain people, you want to know, is because they have influence and you don't. I mean, that's not mean, that's just honest. They have influence and you don't. If a doctor, if an attorney, if a successful sports athlete posts and says, hey, I'm starting a company, and they're successful, they're going to be able to get a bunch of leads and talk to people. If you've never built a business before and you've been a W-2 employee and you've never made more than $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and you post that out to all your friends who make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 and say, I've got a business where you can make a lot of money, your friends basically say bullshit. They're like, no, you don't. I know you. I was just over at your house last weekend and we were drinking and we were watching the game and I know you don't have that. And you know, no matter who you think you know, you're not gonna be able to do that. Well, it's the crabs in the bucket theory. You know, they're gonna pull you back down in because they're like, you're not getting out of this neighborhood. Nobody gets out of this neighborhood. I've been in this neighborhood forever. And I don't mean that you all live in the same neighborhood, but that same lifestyle. So the reason leads work is leads will put you in touch with people that don't know you. They don't know whether you have influence or you don't have influence. They don't know that you missed a bunch of payments at one point and borrowed money from everybody. They don't know that you screwed up in high school and didn't have good grades. They don't know that you were in the stress center. They don't know that you've had all kinds of family issues. They don't know about your extracurricular activities that you used to have and messed everything up. They don't know about the divorce. They don't know about the eviction. They don't know about the car repossession. They don't know that you got fired. They don't know any of that. The only thing the leads know is that you may or may not have an opportunity. That's all they know. But you can't use those words. So, A, where do you get the leads from? That's number one. You can get the leads from a bunch of different sources. Now, I'm not going to go into where to get the leads because you can get the leads. I've used leads from the internet. I bought them from, different sources. Build Lasting Success was a company that I got them from. I've also got them from pro networking leads. I bought them from like 3 or 4 different places. And here's what I can tell you. They're all the same. Whether I spent $1, I think the least I spent was 45 cents per lead. Whether I spent 45 cents per lead or whether I spent $5 per lead, the leads were identical. They were identical. I got the same 100 people I called, I got the same results exactly because I had the system to use. Now, I've also been able to create leads. I've created leads through ads where? Now, this is kind of, again, I'm going to get into the science of leads. If you look at 100% of the population, 100% of the population is indoctrinated to look for what? Work. They're there to look for work. They're not there to look for an opportunity. Most people would not be able to, convict an opportunity if they saw one because most people don't know what an opportunity looks like. I talk to a lot of people. They have no idea what an opportunity. The word opportunity, home-based business, those are the first 2 words I removed out of my vocabulary completely. You'll never hear me use those on any call at all. You'll never hear me use those in a contact. I never talk about opportunity, and I never talk about home-based business ever. I never talk about internet business ever. Because what I realized is the average person that I'm talking to, and what I mean by average person, whether they make a lot of money or a little bit of money, I'm talking about average person like W-2 employee. I don't talk about that because that's not a language they understand. Just like I wouldn't come up and talk to Chris in Vietnamese. And I don't know a lot of Vietnamese. I know a little bit, but I probably wouldn't talk to him in Vietnamese. Why? Because he probably doesn't know that language. I never say those words. What I talk to people about is I talk to people about working, which is totally different than what most people are taught when they're taught to pitch these businesses. I never use the word, I'm really excited about this, especially when it comes to leads. So the difference is you've got 2 groups of people. You got the list of people that you talk to that you can be really friendly. You want to be really friendly, and you want to be what I call is positive. You don't want to be excited. You want to be positive. There's a difference. If you're positive, you can be intelligent. But if you're just motivated and excited, you could be an idiot and be motivated and excited, and then you have a motivated, excited idiot that basically has no idea what they're talking about. I want you to be positive. There's a difference. Positive is I have a good outlook on life. I have a positive attitude. I see the best in what's about to happen. You want to be positive. You don't necessarily want to be excited. Because what I found is if you're just excited, what ends up happening is people see through the bullshit, and they're like, that's fake. We can see this fake. We know it's fake, right? So people are typically fearful of the words owning a business. Absolutely, James hit the nail right on the head because that's not normal language inside of W-2 world. The whole idea of business is if you talk to most people about business, what they hear about is, oh, John started a business and it failed. James started a business and it went under. I've got this one friend, from Charlotte, North Carolina, and she started a business and the business went under. The normal W-2 people talk about what didn't work. The business people talk about what do work because they're in a business that's working. Does this make sense? So those are some differences. Those are some language, some words. Then we get into, so here's the different kinds of ads. So I also use sign ads. Now the reason I was always able to use signs, or what they call bandit sign ads, is because I was in real estate and we were taught to use those inside of real estate and inside of real estate investing. Inside of real estate investing, I'm sure every single person on here has seen the We Buy Houses signs. I was one of those guys. I put out the We Buy Houses signs. And I realized the same thing about We Buy Houses signs as I found in network marketing is a lot of people buy the sign, a lot of people get the call, a lot of people get the person. You got the right person. You don't have a freaking clue on what to do with them, and you talk to them and you say everything wrong. and you say everything wrong, and the same person that you basically almost had will end up calling me, and I'll close them. Now, I don't try to take them from you. I didn't even know that you had the conversation. But later on, they'll tell me, oh, yeah, somebody else called me. I called another sign like this, and I would have gone with them, but they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and I could tell. Oh, okay. Well, you didn't tell me that at first. Yeah, I didn't think it was important. Oh, okay. Because a lot of times if I hear that, I'll try to go back to that person, and I'll try to lead them the right direction, right? And Bess will probably vouch for me on that. I'll try to lead them back to the right person and help people, even if I don't make money off of it. And Bess can vouch for that. Actually, there's probably several people on here who can vouch for that. Is I'm not doing it just with the intent to make money, but if somebody doesn't tell me, I'll recruit them. So you've got these leads you can buy online. They're called opportunity leads. Typically what they do is they fill out a little form that says, are you looking for... Now watch this. There are companies that will put out these ads in the right places and have people fill out, hey, do you want to learn about the top 3 home-based businesses? Hey, do you want to have this? Hey, do you want to have that? There are companies that will put that stuff out, and that's how they grab these leads. And they grab them in a lot of different ways. Once they get the leads, then they give them to you, but they also sell them to 10 other people. And this is what you'll find, is the 10 other people either don't call them. 90% of people who buy leads never call. I don't know if you know that. 90% of people who get leads never actually contact them at all. And if they do contact them, what they'll first try to do is the path of least resistance. So if you have a name, a number, and an email, what do you think people do? What's the path of least resistance? The path of least resistance is you send some bullshit automated email, which gets flagged by spam, never gets the right person, and doesn't work. Statistically, 88% of spam-based emails that are opportunity-based emails like network marketing, 88% never reach the person to begin with. So if you send 100 emails out, which most people don't even do that much work, if you send 100 emails out, 88 of them don't get there. The 12 that do get there, this is important to know, the 12 emails that do actually get there are opened or looked at, but 16 hours after they're sent. That's the average time frame, is 16 hours after they're sent. And then if they are looked at, 80% or 82% of them that are looked at only read the top line. 80%. So out of 12, that means 10 of them are going to read the top line. And it's something ridiculous, like 10% will read at least down to the third line. They'll actually open the email, read line 1, 2, 3. So if you didn't send it to enough people, you have no hope. If you send it to enough people, then you better hope the first line is engaging enough where they can get the information, they get the point across in the title, in the subject. And if you happen to get one more level down, you better have that first 2 or 3 lines better be everything you need to say. If you're sending emails that are paragraphs, you already screwed up. And that's across the board in internet marketing. If your email has more than 3 lines of important information, the rest of that, you could just write gibberish. I mean, you could write blah, 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 all the way down. That's all that you're doing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Not only nobody cares, but statistically, nobody will read it. They'll read the first 3 lines. So whatever your objective, if you have 3 things you want them to know, those are your first 3 lines. The rest of it's garbage. Don't even bother. Say, go watch the video. Call me if you want to know. Because you'd get better odds doing that. Because most of you don't have a list big enough. So that's how email works. That's the path of least resistance. The next thing down is you'll text message them. You won't build a relationship with them. You won't build rapport. You won't build anything. What you're told to do is spam them. And what I mean by spam them is, here's what you're told to do. Tell them about your company. Send them your website. Hi, Jim. I've got a great opportunity. And you need to go to blah, 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 and check out my website. Tell me if I'm wrong. This is what you've done. And you send it, and you get a bunch of messages back. Stop. Don't contact me anymore. Who is this? What is this about? I hate you. You know, some really colorful adjectives. Tell me if I'm wrong, if you've done this. If you've had that happen to you, let me know. Because I had it happen to me. I tried this stuff. So that's the path of least resistance. The last thing would be, I mean, and nobody teaches this and nobody does it, is you'd actually do something really weird. Is you'd kind of maybe contact them the right way, which is, hey, and listen to this language and tell me if this sounds like nothing you've ever heard before. I would send them a message and say, hey, this is Jeff Gamble from, and then I have an LLC. I would say, hey, this is Jeff Gamble from Inner Circle Marketing. The reason why I'm contacting you is my office passed me your information and said you're looking for work. Are you still looking? Tell me if has anybody ever, other than hearing it from me, has anybody ever heard that language used in network marketing to contact somebody? Hi, my name is Jeff Gamble. I'm a recruiter from the company XYZ. And the reason why I'm getting a hold of you is my office passed me your information and said you're looking for work. Are you still looking? Are you looking for work? Most people aren't looking for opportunities. They're not looking for opportunities. They're not looking for home-based businesses. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't mean they won't look at home-based businesses, but they're not looking for it because they don't know anything about it. They don't have any experience. Where you don't have any experience, you have the highest level of fear that you're going to get taken, you're going to get taken advantage of. So people just don't put that out there. Tracy says she's never heard of it either. So that's how I respond to people. That's what I teach. Watch this, whether I picked up somebody's business card or I have somebody's, that's another whole list of things. Did you know there's resumes out there? People put out resumes. You mean you could call resumes? Yeah, I had a friend that went all the way to the top of our commission chart that we showed using resumes. People actually looking for, doesn't it make sense? If you want to find people who want to work, who really are willing to work, you look for people who are looking for work. Dave Barker's with us. What's happening, sir? So I look for people who are looking for work. And then I sound like what? I sound like a recruiter. Because I am a recruiter. What do I do? When people ask me, what do you do, Jeff? I typically tell them nothing. Or as little as possible, but I try to make as much money as possible. And then they laugh. And here's the thing, here's the art. If you can get somebody to laugh in the first 30 seconds, it's really hard for them not to listen and not to like you. And it doesn't mean you're supposed to become a comedian. That's not what it means. There's a certain level of confidence you can have doing this if you're willing to work hard. Yeah, and Michael, by the way, I'm actually recording this, and I'm going to put it on YouTube, and we're going to translate it. So this is a friend of mine, Michael Hankins, who lives in northern Indiana. There's just like Indiana-Michigan border, who's deaf, who's probably lip reading right now, and I actually put these on YouTube for him so that way he can translate them, so that way they're like translated and edited with the words, so that way he can learn. So I give this guy more credit than almost anybody on here because he's trying to figure this out and learn how to build a business without the ability to hear what's going on. So, and here's the other thing, he's doing well. He's done better than some people on here who can. It's Michigan, yeah, it's Mishawaka, I believe. So it is Michigan. But I always say Indiana. I always think you're in Indiana. I don't know why. Not that I hate Michigan. It's just I always thought you were in Indiana. So that's the language to use. So what we talk about is there's leads you can buy. There's signs. Now we've also talked about resumes. And then there are certain websites where you can post job-related or business-related ads. Now here's what most people do. They'll go on a Craigslist or a Facebook marketplace and they list their opportunity. And they write it in the form of an opportunity. And the problem with writing it in the language of an opportunity is you're only hitting 5% of the people, not the 95% of the people. Oh, Mishawaka's Indiana. See, that's my problem is I don't know geography. So this is not only was I not good at English, not only was I not good at speech class, not only was I not good in history, obviously I suck at geography too. So you don't have to be smart to do this is what I'm saying. You don't even have to know where people live. It'd help. But I know he's up north. That's from me. He's north of me. 3 hours, 3.5. So Dakota's with us. What's happening, sir? So different ways to get, now there's also a way to post. So what I found is one of the most inexpensive ways to generate leads and learn this is to be able to post ads. What I learned is most people don't know how to write an ad. So if you don't know how to write an ad, what you do is you end up putting up a bunch of garbage that you hear inside of, and I say garbage, you end up repeating a lot of things that you hear inside of these network marketing meetings, and the language that's used is there to recruit you, and it's there to keep you to stay. It's not there to grow the business. And there's a whole nother hour speech on this, but basically, it's the wrong language to use. So then I have friends of mine who try to write ads. You have no English skills. And what I mean by no English skills is you don't have professional English skills. It's not that you don't know how to write, it's you don't know how to write ads. Then not only do you not know how to write ads, you don't know desktop underwriting. Desktop underwriting is the layout of an ad. So if you see a real good professional ad, you instinctively know it before you read the words. Why? Because the layout looks right. Here's what you guys do. You write this paragraph that's all back to back to back to back to back. Hi, my name's Jeff Gamble, and I this, and it's one block paragraph. I know right away when somebody doesn't know what the hell they're doing, because it's one block paragraph. There's no spaces. There's no editing to how it's laid out. Professionals know how to lay all that out. And here's the thing. If you try to go learn how to do that, stop network marketing, go to school for 2 years and learn how to do that, great. Now you have one piece of a puzzle of 30 things you need to know how to do. Let professionals figure that out for you. You know why I had to figure it out? Because I was in an industry where I had to learn that. In real estate investing, there was nobody to teach that. So I had to learn how to do it. I've spent $100,000 on training to figure out how to do what I'm telling you. So you can go spend 100 grand and figure it out too. You know, that's fine. You can take 10 years to figure this out, or I'm going to kind of lead you through what you need to do here. So there's these different types of leads. You have to figure out whatever's best for you. Liliana's with us. Bob's with us. Marty just jumped on. Hello, hello. So, yes, Dakota, there's going to be a replay for certain people on here. So here's what happens. You've got these different methods. You have this different language. So no matter which way I get, watch, no matter which way I get the lead, if I get the lead from a lead source that I bought, or I get the lead from a sign, or I get the lead from an ad, or I get the lead from a Craigslist, Facebook type job resume, if I get the lead from any one of those things, the language I'm using, I'm going to use text message. So watch this. I use high tech to go high touch. So this is the path I use. High tech. I use professionals to get me the leads. Typically, I don't create them. In some cases, I create them myself, but I'll use professionals to get the lead. For you guys, you need to use somebody else to get the leads. And I say that because you don't know the rest of this. You're not good at the rest of this. So learning this side of it makes no sense right now. You need to learn the other side of it. And what I mean the other side of it, you need to learn the presentation and the walking people through getting started part. You need to learn that first before you learn all this other garbage. Like, it's too much. And probably I've taught you too much already, but I'm just giving you the background of this. And I do have a class that I'm going to lead people through. If this interests you at all, I've got a class that I'm going to lead people through. It's going to be a 4-hour class. And Bob King actually is one of the people that I believe, Bob, did we meet through leads? I think we did. We met through a Craigslist lead, if I remember right. So Bob King is a friend of mine who's online right now on Facebook, who actually I'm friends with, recruited, and worked with in more than one company because of the process I'm telling you about. So we find the lead source, then we learn how to contact people the right way. Hi, my name's Jeff Gamble. I'm a recruiter. And he says, yes, that is how we met. I thought that was. So we say yes. I say, hey, look, my name's Jeff Gamble. I'm a recruiter with this company. My office passed me your information. So whether it's a resume or whether it's just a phone number, whether it's whatever, my office passed me your information. And the reason why I'm contacting you is I want to know if you're still looking for work. I let them then get back to me. I have a call to get on. Yeah, there will be. I'll send it out to you, Lisa. I let people then get back to me. When they get back to me, I then ask this, do you have, watch this, do you have 15 minutes for a phone interview right now? If they say, no, I'm at work, no problem, I'll talk to you later. Well, you have to tell me what it is first. No, actually, I don't have to tell you shit. I'm the one who's interviewing people, and you're looking for work. I don't have to tell you anything. So there's a completely different mindset when you do leads. Completely different mindset when you do leads. When you do leads, you have to understand the position you're positioning yourself in is the hiring person. You're the hiring person. You're the pre-qualifying person. I'm not recruiting everybody. I don't want everybody. Some people are like, I just want anybody. Like when you're new, you just want anybody. You're like, oh, would you please send somebody to me? But there are certain people you don't want. Who are the people you don't want? You don't want the whiny, crybaby, people who are going to take up all your time, people who aren't going to do work, people who need They don't need a personal development book. They need a personal development library. These people they don't need network marketing. They need real therapy. And I'm not saying that like I've been through therapy, like real therapy. Like I needed real professional help to get I needed that help just to get to zero. Like I was that far gone. Obviously, some of you heard my story in the beginning that I was in a stress center growing up, and I was a mess. I had to use real professional just to get to this point. You don't want everybody. What you want to do, watch this, is you want to use high tech to get to high touch to interview people, and the next part of this is called a pre-qualification. And I know nobody's heard this before. People are like, well, I just want to pre-qualify. Hey, are you ready to go right now? Are you interested in a network marketing opportunity? Are you available 5 to 10 hours a week? That's how most people pitch the, are you qualified? That's not going to work. And it might work if you talk to 10,000 people, but I'm not willing to work that hard. I want something better. So I'm going to read this to you. And this is part of the PDF system. This is part of the class that I'm going to put on. So this is called the free daily lead system. There are 4 reasons. I'm literally going to read this. There are 4 reasons why you want to use leads. Number 1 is your psychology improves. You start working through emotional blocks that you may have towards recruiting. Why? Because you start seeing results. Imagine that. Wouldn't that be nice? Results. And it starts to calibrate how you see the business and your emotions towards work that actually is going to pay off. Number 2, you get into a success groove. Research shows that anything you do for 21 days turns into a bad habit in most cases, because most of you do it wrong. I have a lot of bad habits. But if you do it right, you'll create good habits. It's not long. It takes 3 weeks to basically develop a good habit. That's why leads are so good, is you can develop the good habit quickly. I mean, imagine taking the whole time you've been in network marketing and boiling it down to 3 weeks. You could learn everything in 3 weeks if you did the right work with the right people. Eventually, all the small stuff disappears. Number 3, it starts developing relationships with potential recruits. Here's the interesting thing about developing relationships. If you call a lead more than once, you actually have started to develop a relationship with them. Grant Cardone teaches this. Network marketing, the super professionals teach this. You start developing a relationship, because if that person knows you're going to call that lead multiple times, because I'm going to call a lead until they either hang up or I find out it's the wrong person, they're like, man, this person's consistent. Man, this person has a good attitude. Man, this person's on time. All of a sudden, you start building all this credibility, and you haven't even talked to them yet. So, surprisingly, you'll develop a relationship with people you've never spoken to, who never return your call, who don't even know you and don't have a relationship with. This happens because some potential recruits are noticing and paying attention to the messages that are being delivered, how you're delivering the message, what you're saying, when you're saying it. Here's an interesting thing. It says an hour of recruiting every day, every business day, adds up to 260 hours of prospecting a year. 2 hours a day adds up to 540, and 3 hours a day adds up to 780 hours, which is a little less than a month of recruiting hours. Within 1 to 3 hours a day, you can actually fill your entire pipeline full of people. 4, you develop posture. Now, why is posture so important? Posture is one of the 3 C's. The 3 C's that you absolutely positively have to have if you want to be successful inside of direct sales. And this is true across the board. Number 1 is you have to be clear. You have to be clear about the message you're giving. That's the first C. Clear. C-L-E-A-R. Clear. I know sometimes it doesn't come across well on video, like what I'm saying, so sorry for spelling. I really shouldn't spell, because I've spelled the simplest words wrong. In fact, psychology was spelled wrong on my PowerPoint for 5 years, and nobody saw it until we pulled it down and we were looking through and working on a different part, and somebody's like, psychology is spelled wrong. I was like, well, that's funny, because that's been up there for 5 years in front of thousands of people and nobody's told me. So what I can say is spelling isn't everything, but it's a good thing. The next one is concise. Concise. Concise means not only do you have to be clear about the message, but you have to get to the point, which some of you have a very hard time doing. Left to your own devices, you would never get to the point. And I know that because I've had conversations with some of you, and I love you to death. But I want to give you the right words to use in the right order so you get to the point faster. You get to the point on time in a time frame that most people will like you. Because here's the thing, if they don't know, like, and trust you, they won't do business with you. So that's part of it, right? The last word is confident. So you have to be clear, you have to be concise, and the last word is confident. Those are the 3 C's. If you don't have those 3 things, the likelihood of recruiting anybody Won't happen. It won't happen. Heidi says that's me. So that was me too. I didn't know how to get to the point. I just talked about everything. So you develop posture. Posture is a form of confidence. So moving on, 4 parts to this system. Number 1 is learn how to set up a pre-written ad. And we're not going to go into that. Number 2 is place that ad. Number 3 is start pre-qualifying the leads. And number 4 is send the pre-qualified leads and application to a person who knows how to present. So put an ad out, get calls, learn how to get those people on the phone and pre-qualify them, and then get them to the presentation. A live presentation, not a pre-recorded presentation, not a, you want like a real present. In fact, I'm going to teach you how to do the presentation. Because here's what I found is anybody can present, but not everybody can sell. Anybody can educate, not anybody can sell. Not everybody can close. And I know that. So I'm going to go in, and this is part of the class. I'm not going to go into all the details, but I'm going to give you kind of an idea of what a good ad sounds like. Actually, do I have that here? I might have what a good ad sounds like. Let me see if I can find one of the good ads. Good ads, leads. Lead seminar. It's pulling up, bear with us. I just want you to hear what a good ad would sound like. But in my class, I'm actually going to give you 20 pre-written ads. That's leads, that's a PDF, that's not what I wanted. Seminar. That's the PowerPoint, that's nice. Oh my gosh, I need to, this is part of the class that I'm going to go over. It's too much. I'm just looking for the stupid ad. Okay, that's not going to work. So I apologize. I thought I had this like right here. Lead. Leadership. MLM lead program. Success tips. Okay, I don't have the ad. I can't find it. I was going to read it to you, but I'll read it to you in the class. If you want to do this, there'll be 20 pre-written ads that you can use, and you can place them in different places. And here's the thing. They're all compliant. And the reason they're all compliant is because nowhere on any of the ads does it say the name of the company. Nowhere on it does it say the name of the operation or where they're at. Nowhere on it does it say the product you're in. Or any company information. All it is a free way to develop a lead looking for the right kind of work. And I wish I could find the ad, but I can't. It's buried somewhere in this information, and I don't want to take the time. So I'm going to skip the ad itself, and we're going to go right to qualifying people. So this is going to sound totally different than anything you've ever heard. So this is pre-written out. And what I mean by pre-written out is every single word, the right words to use in the right order are already written out, and it's in the form of an application. So if you can read and fill out information, you can do this. And I don't care if you're 18 or you're 95. I've worked with people in both age groups and everybody in between. If you have a professional background, if you have a non-professional background, if you're a construction worker. I took a construction worker who barely spoke English, and he became the #1 recruiter on my team, and he was the #1 recruiter in the state of Indiana in our company, but he was probably one of the best recruiters in the state in any company. Along with the country, he was in the top 25 using this. This makes a difference, like a big difference. He went from not succeeding at all to just crushing it. I mean, imagine struggling for a year, not doing anything, not recruiting anybody. All of a sudden, the next year, you're the #1 recruiter. Bob King's like, yeah, he actually did do that, because Bob King was in the room and saw this guy do it. And he is a funny guy. So here's what we start with. When I contact somebody and I pick up the phone, they said, yeah, I've got 15 minutes right now to talk. I said, great. I call them, and I'm going to give you the exact words. Hi, my name's Jeff Gamble. I'm going to use Inner Circle Marketing. I use the generic name of my LLC that runs everything. Hi, my name's Jeff Gamble from Inner Circle Marketing. My office passed me information and said that you're still looking for work, right? They say, yeah. I said, great. What I want to do is take about 15 minutes. I just want to ask you a couple questions, make sure you're the right person, and then I want to give you some information on what we're doing. Cool? And most people most people try to cut you off if this is the art of it. Do you notice the speed at which I'm talking? Doesn't it sound faster? Yes. Doesn't it sound more confident? Yes. Does it sound like I'm an authority and know what I'm doing? Yes. You're not going to get it the first time until until it's memorized. So the only way you get good at this is if you memorize it, and the only way you're going to memorize it is by doing it live for real with people. But if you do it live for real, it's written words. You can't screw it up. You're just reading what's on the page. Great. I would like to give you an overview of what we do and what we're looking for. So I have a couple questions for you to see if you'd be a good fit. Okay, cool. Great. First question. Are you looking for something full-time or part-time right now? So here's the thing. If you don't have confidence at this part, what they're going to do is they're going to cut you off. And I don't know if you've ever played the flinching game where somebody, you act like you're going to hit them and they kind of do this and you're like, I see you're going to move. People instinctively will try that with people who don't have a high level of confidence. Oh, you need to tell me what this really is. You'll get people who have attitude. Well, you need to tell me what this really is. Well, I said, what this really is. I said, well, it's really obvious that why you don't have a job right now. It's really obvious why you're having problems finding work right now. That's what I think in my head. I don't say that out loud. Most cases. People will get mean. Well, I'm not giving you any information until you tell me exactly who you are and what you do. Obviously, you're not who we're looking for. Thank you so much for your time. Click. Some people have done this with me and think that I don't just hang up on people and go to the next person. Guys, I have zero tolerance from somebody who is looking for work and has an attitude. I don't want to work. Can you imagine bringing that person on your team and them going, I'm not calling people. I'm not talking to nobody. Great. You'll be sitting out in the hall with everybody else. That's awesome. I can tell, you're doing real well in life right now. We need to tell me what this is because I'm only looking for something professional. I said, well, you answered a Craigslist ads, which tells me you're not looking for shit right now. You have no idea what you're doing. And based on what your resume looks like, I really want to send you to Hooked on Phonics is what I want to do. And I'm being sarcastic right now, and I'm telling you what I think in my head, not what I say out loud. So don't filter that out. Don't use that stuff for real. Part of this is just so it entertains me when we go through it. So here's the application. The first question is, are you looking for something part-time or full-time? Jacob's with us. What's happening, sir? Are you looking for something full-time or part-time? Now, the reason why is I am specifically looking for somebody who's working a full-time job who wants to do better. I'm specifically looking for somebody who has some point of income, because watch this. If they say, I don't have an income at all, how are they going to get in? Oh, they could borrow the money. They could sell some products. And I say, bullshit. No, they won't. Yes, it's happened before. But as a network marketer, write this down, because this is absolutely the truth. No matter what company you're in, no matter what opportunity you're in, no matter who your upline is, no matter what system you use, time is your enemy. Time is your enemy. The longer you take to do this, the less likely you'll do it, and the longer it takes to do anything I'm talking about, the less success you'll have. Here's the second thing to write down. Success loves speed. The faster people make $1 million, the easier it is. It's true. Now we have Smart Alex making $1 billion in 4 years. It used to be when I, saw the industry and grew up, if you made $1 million in 4 years, you were doing it fast. I've actually heard multi-millionaires who have created many, many businesses. They said, if it takes you over 5 years to make $1 million, quit and go do something else. Because either A, you didn't learn how to do it, or B, it's not an opportunity to produce $1 million. Go do something else that's not worth it. Now, this is somebody who was teaching people how to make $1 million. Wow, we just had thunder here. That's really weird to hear. I didn't know we were supposed to get storms. So, 2, here's the second question. Are you currently, what are you currently working and doing right now? Because obviously if they're looking for something part-time or full-time, what are you currently working on right now? What is your current job right now? How long have you done it? What positions? What duties? People are like, this sounds like an interview. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm interviewing them. I want to know who this person is. Because watch this. I'm not looking to build a relationship. I'm looking to build rapport. A relationship is like, we grew up together. I know your friends. I know your family. That's all great. But if I have a relationship with you and I have no respect, you're not joining my team anyway, no matter how good my relationship is. I want to have rapport. Rapport is, I see things at the same level. I can empathize, and then I can bring you to where you need to go. This is leading. I am leading people in the right direction. Here's what most people do wrong. And people did this wrong in mortgage. People did this wrong in real estate. People did this wrong in real estate investing. And I see people do it wrong instead of doing leads too. Is they won't ask and go back far enough. They're like, okay, what do you do right now? Okay, you work at Target? Okay, great. And then they move on to the next thing. I slow down a little bit and I say, okay, so you worked at Target for how long? They're like, the last 3 years. Now I can hear in their voice that they're not 22. I can hear the kids in the background or the other adults. What'd you do before that? Before that, I worked, at a computer place. What'd you do for the computer place? And then they tell me, okay, what'd you do before that? Well, before that, I was in the military for 20 years. Really? Yeah, I was in the military for 20 years. They're like, oh, wow. I was like, what branch? What was your DMO? Now, the only reason I know to ask that is I have so many friends inside the military. I know some of the lingo. If you know the lingo, you can build rapport. I've actually asked people questions, and the line of questioning that I use and the language that I use, like one of the guys kind of leaned back. He's like, are you in? Or have you been in? Like, he was asking me if I had been in the military, which is super funny to everybody else around me because people are like, you wouldn't make it. My stepdad was like, they would have hurt you. Like, because I had such a problem with authority. Now, I have a really good friend who's a colonel, an ex-colonel in the Army, and he's like, oh, no, we would have identified your bullshit real fast, and we would have whipped you into shape. He's like, we would have either broken you in two, or you would have led the unit. Like, we would have figured that out real fast. So I was like, okay, cool. But in saying that, I learned how to ask these questions because I talked, here's the thing, I talked to enough people that I started learning lingo inside of other closed employment where only they use that lingo, like international shipping, freight shipping. I've got friends that drive trucks, and what I mean by trucks is semis. And now that I talk to my friends that have done gas, I know about the hookups and what you have to do and depressurization, and you got to measure how much and what a drop means. Like, why would I know that? Because I listen and I actually pay attention so that when I run into somebody who has the same profession. See, you guys are trying to figure out what words to say about the product, and I'm trying to figure out what they do for a living and how I can relate to them for a living, because if they know, like, and trust me, and I'm clear and I'm concise and confident, they're going to join me regardless of what I know about the product. In fact, in a lot of cases, I've recruited people to things where I know less about the product than the person I'm recruiting. I'm like, well, you're going to do better than me because you know more about the product. The reality is I know more about how to get people and bring them on board. So here's the next question. You're going to like this. Some of you are like, wow, this is so different. Have you ever owned a business or been self-employed? If so, what company? Which is more important to you, flexible hours or making more money? That's the next question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your communication skills? Wouldn't that be important? Here's what I'm asking them. What's your self-esteem? What's your self-esteem? Some people are like, I'm really not good at talking to people. I really don't like talking to people. Well, I know right there we're going to have an issue. Now I know what we're dealing with. The last question, and is sometimes the question, this is a question to seize control back of the conversation. You can use this, guys, if this is the only thing you get. If this is the only thing you get, you can use this in the 3-foot rule. You can use this with friends and family. You can use this with anybody. Anytime you're pitching what you do or talking about what you do, or you're about to talk about what you do, or you're pre-qualifying, you can use this one line and seize control of a conversation. When somebody's like, well, you need to tell me exactly what this is before I tell you anything. For some reason, I talk to a lot of people in the South, and they kind of sound like that. I asked them this. I said, what's the highest level of education you've completed? Man, you talk about people putting on the brakes and backing up. They're like, I don't have a college degree, but I've driven past a college once. Oh, okay. You know, I don't have a 4-year degree, but I attended a year of college. Okay. And they start defending themselves about what they know and what they know how to do. And, you know, and I was at a technical school, and my brother's a PhD, and my doctor, and, you know, I've got a bunch of books on the shelf from college that I bought, but I didn't go. Okay, cool. I just wanted to know, what's the highest level you've actually completed? That seizes control back. It's written down. You don't have to memorize it. It's written down if you use this. So after we get all that, I say, okay, basically, let's say that everything looks and everything checks out. They're kind of cool person, you know, and you kind of jive with them, and they're telling you everything. This is where I get positive. I say, wow. I said, you're basically like the type of person we're looking for. So what I want to do is I want to give you a quick overview of what we're going to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you to my sales director, so that way they can give you the overview. I'm going to send all this information over, and they're probably going to call you with either today or tomorrow. And here's the prefix that they're going to call you from. This is who I work under. I'm kind of in training right now, so all I do is qualify people. That's all I do. Now, that's if you have an upline that will work with you on this, which you're lucky if you do. So that way it's kind of like a tag team. If you don't, you have to be this person. So you're going to say, great, what I want to do is give you a quick overview on what we do and what we're looking for, and kind of find out on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at. It's all set up. So now I say, I'm gonna describe to you basically the 5 things. Harvard School of Business says there's 5 areas. There's 5 areas of an opportunity you need to look at. Number 1 is the company. Number 2 is the need in the marketplace. Number 3 is the product or service we offer. Number 4 is the compensation, how we pay people. And then we're going to talk about the timing and the talent. And I have some people to introduce you to if that sounds good. Now, our company is blah, 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 blah. It started here. Here's where it's located. Here's the millions of dollars or billions of dollars it's done in volume. Here's the countries it's in, blah, 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 blah. Here's the need in the marketplace. You know, there's this many people who need this. Here's what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Here's our product. You know, here's the science, or here's the education behind it, or here's the service, and here's why it's cheaper and better and smellier and fun, and, you know, all the good stuff about it, that why it's better than everybody else. And the compensation, for those of you who don't know how to do compensation, guys, there's a couple different ways we pay. You know, one is we're looking for direct salespeople. Another one is business to business. We can actually walk into businesses and market what we do. The third is we build sales teams. And then there's a whole nother compensation for sales teams. So there's those 3 different ways to get paid. I can get you the details on that. And then the last is the timing. The timing of the industry, the timing of what we're doing right now, where the company's positioned at, and the talent. Let me tell you about some of the people we work with that I want to introduce you to. Now, if I was giving that presentation, I would not say make it up. I would say get with somebody who knows how to do that presentation, or get the flipbook presentation from your company and read it. Don't present it. Don't be over the top. Read it to them. This is the factual part. You want to be clear. You want to be concise. You want to be confident. The clear part is you're just reading it to them. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, and I used this product, and Mary Jane used it, and I've got this other friend, Shar, and she used it, and she had this. There's not a testimonial in the middle of a presentation. A presentation has a beginning, and it has a middle, and it has an end. And this is what my friend taught me when he taught me about presenting. He's like, your presentation needs to be good enough to convict the person at the end of understanding. They don't have to join, they have to understand. Brad, what's happening? And funny enough, Brad is another guy that I used this type of training. I met him at Starbucks. We exchanged words many times. I said, hey, and this is what I was teaching my friend yesterday. At the very end, before you leave, you say, hey, you know, you're really sharp. What are you doing here? And they're like, it's, you know, part-time. I kind of liked it. And I said, you know, watch this. Are you open to doing anything outside of working here? I think that's the exact line I used. And that's what I teach people to use now. So whether it's a waiter, waitress, retail person, I meet somebody in Starbucks, I said, I know this sounds totally weird, but I'm actually a recruiter for my company, and my company looks for people like you, and I have a question to ask you. Are you open to doing anything outside of working here? Does that sound like network marketing to you? Does that sound like the typical pitch into network marketing? It doesn't sound anywhere near. That's why my results are so much better. Like guys, most people work this hard and get no results. My other friends work so, I mean, I can't even put it on the screen, so much, and they do have results, and I work like this and I beat them. Now, that's not to say how good I'm like, I'm so good. No, it's just the technique I'm using is better. And here's why I know that. It's the technique and not me, because I've been able to teach it to other people, and I've taught other people how to be better and pass me. That's why I know it works. So we got this, we pre-qualified them. We pitched them. What do we do after that? Then we need to send information. We have to ask them the question at the end. Well, now that you know what we do on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your interest level? Remember, this is a lead. This isn't, hey, do me a favor. This is a lead. What's your interest level? If they're above 5, what do they need? Say more information. They need more information. If they're above 5. If they're below 5, it doesn't sound like it's for you, and we don't work with people below 5. Thanks. Have a great day. It's been awesome. Oh, no, I'm really a 6. Okay, well, let me get you the information then. Because you don't even have the confidence to tell me to do it. Here's what I tell people. I'm like, I do this for a living. You're not going to hurt my feelings. If this doesn't interest you, I don't give a shit. Like one way or another. I really don't. Like whether you do it, don't do it, no problem. They're like, okay. I'm going to get them the information first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have third party invite them to whatever event is. Bob King is giving me the answer because he's like, well, what you did with me is you showed it to me. Then you put me on the phone with somebody who invited me to the event you were doing. Now, funny thing was I was the speaker. I could have invited him, but I didn't. Why? Because you use third party to invite. You don't want to be the person who contacts them, presents to them, follows up with it. You don't want to be everything. This is where the appropriate time to use third party was. I contact them, I pre-qualify them, I present, I then use third party to invite them, and then I send them the information. You want to know where your video fits in? After I tell them what I do, and they're like, yeah, I'm more interested, I said, good, the details you're looking for are on this video. Now, the reason they'll watch the video at this point is why? The reason they're going to watch the video at this point is because they're interested. Not because you want them to look at it, but because they're interested in answering the questions they have in their own head. They want to validate what you just said. Is this guy pulling my leg? Is this really crap or is this real? I mean, it sounds too good. Here's the thing. People said, it sounds too good to be true. I said, well, why don't you look it up and find out if it is? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Here, let me send you the information. Why don't you look at this? Most people won't, but the ones that do, get in. We use third party. Third party invites them to the events, whether it's an online event or whether it's a live event where people are in the front of the room. You'll recruit more people on a live event than you will on a webinar. Just reality, just how it works. But either work if you do this enough times. And then after that, so did you see the opportunity? Yeah. Can you afford to take, so this is a closing question. Can you afford to take advantage of it? That's a really pretty way of saying, are you ready to get started? Can you afford to take advantage of it? Did you see an opportunity? So I say I never use the word opportunity. I never use the word opportunity at the beginning. I never use the word opportunity in the pitch. But after they've seen everything, I said, do you see an opportunity for yourself? Yeah. Can you afford to take advantage of it? Do you have the money? Kind of, maybe. So here's what I ask them. I say, well, is it better to get started now, or is it better to get started when you get paid? Here's what I found. The number one thing people don't want to say is that they see the opportunity, they want to take advantage of it. They would have the money, but they don't have the money on them that night. Why don't they have the money on them that night? Because you didn't either. You had to wait until payday. A lot of people did. I did. I'm just saying I did. I had to wait until payday. I didn't have a credit card that had the balance on it to be able to get in back then. I didn't have the money. I wanted to do it. I was excited, but here's the thing. If you force it right then people feel pressured. And if they feel pressured, they're not going to let you into their warm market. They're not going to want to get started because then they feel pressured, right? So I say, well, are you able to get started now, or is it better to get started when you get paid? Oh, better when I get paid. When do you get paid? I get paid next Friday. Great. Let's go. Yeah, and you can ask people to borrow the money. You know, is there a way, is there somebody you could borrow it from? I don't really press for that. Because the minute you apply pressure, they back off. At that point, it seems like you're going for a commission, not to help them. Hi, Karen. Does this make sense, guys? I hope it does. This is the process I lead, and is there more to it? Yes. I've told you a little bit about why. I've told you about why people don't. I've told you about, you know, kind of the science behind using the right words, a little bit of the art form to it, about the confidence end. So here's what I have. And now I got to pull it up because I closed out a window here. Microsoft says it has an update for me. Just what I always wanted. Eventbrite. I'm going to tell you about this class that I'm offering. And if you guys like this, please let me know. You know, if you like the content, if this has been good, if this has been helpful, that's awesome. Let me know. Choose events. Says, help me. Browse events. Manage events. That's what I'm looking for. Manage events. Okay, the art and science of recruiting is going to be next Sunday. Hello, Shanae. Next Sunday. Here's how it's going to work. I want to view it. It will be recorded, so for those of you who can't physically get on and go through the whole thing, that's terrible, but that works. I know people have stuff going on Sunday. It's going to be from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. It's 4 hours. The reason being is we're going to go into an hour of the why, so we really get that down. We're going to go into an hour of the science of exactly what to say, words, everything. We're going to go into the art, and then we're going to have a 1 hour open discussion that's a Q&A where people can ask questions, because I'm sure you have questions about where to go, where to get, where, you know, how this works. So those are the 4 sessions: why leads, how leads, the art of recruiting, and then the Q&A. And I'm going to record it. It's going to be recorded right here. I'm going to record each session, all 4. So that way what you're going to be able to do is, this is also going to include a PDF of the agent profile. That's basically when you get somebody started, how to know them. So if the process works and you get them in, what do you do with them when you get them in? You go through this agent profile, and that basically builds the rest of the rapport you need to get them started and how to get people started the right way. You're going to get the science of leads, which is the whole pre-qualifying script and that whole part. There's a whole section that I skipped about, you know, the attitude you need to use and how to get on the phone and what you should do, you know, pre-phone work, like what kind of affirmations you're going to use and things like that. That's kind of more of the art of it, the science of it. The next is the art part of it. We're going to talk about personalities and how to identify right away based on what they do, what they get, the information they give you, what their personality is, and then how to move them forward. Also, you're going to get the PDF of 20 pre-written ads you can place out right away. Now, I asked a friend of mine, I said, what do you think that would be worth if I taught that class? He's like, well, I mean, it helped me make 40 grand the first year, so I would say it's at least worth 40 grand. I was like, yeah, but I don't think anybody can afford 40 grand. He's like, well, then you could probably sell it for a couple $100s. And I was like, yeah, but nobody would be able to afford it, and people would like guess. I said, what if I made $100? And he's like, yeah, that'd probably be good. So that's what I did, is I made it $100. It's $99 for the class, for the 4 hours, for those PDFs. You'll get the training and the Q&A. And then I'm also doing a private Facebook group for this, so that way anybody who wants to can come into the private Facebook group. And as we do, I'm going to start doing this class more often, like at least once a month, to go through. And then we'll get on the Facebook group, and when we're not doing the class throughout the time, people who have bought this and who have questions and want to know how it works and what's going on, perfect, you can do that. Now, if you want a discount on it, Bess already mentioned we have an MLM Millionaire Club. The MLM, this is not tied directly, but some of what I've mentioned on here is the information that I teach inside the MLM Millionaire Club. Now, you talk about ridiculously inexpensive. It's 25 bucks a month to be part of that club. If you're part of that club, you get a discount on the class. It's 50% off, so it's $49. So instead of 100 bucks, you're spending $49 for the class. If you're already in the MLM Millionaire Club, so there's going to be a link to these. I will put them up on my Facebook page right now, and anybody who wants to go sign up for the class can go sign up for the class. It's next week. It'll be recorded, so you'll be able to have a recording of it along with the PDFs, so that way you can follow along with us and have that stuff when we go through it, and then you'll have it permanently. The reason it's put in a PDF is some of that stuff you're going to want to print off, like those applications. You can print off those applications and you can use them whether you use signs or whether you buy leads or whether you use the leads. I'm going to show you, because I'm going to show you where to place these ads and how to create them, and they're $5. Cost $5 to put the ad out and create leads. And I've got friends that do this. We do this on a regular basis. I don't know what you make per person that you bring in, but I guarantee what I'm going to show you is going to make you more than $100. And if you've probably gotten $100 worth out of this free, you kind of understand what I'm saying. So that's what I got today. That's what we do. This is what I personally use. Now, here's the thing. I don't just use this information in network marketing. We've built a several $100,000 a year business, holistic business, our massage business, our Reiki business that we have here in Indianapolis, doing the exact same thing I'm teaching. Like, so I don't think this works. I know it works. It not only works inside of network marketing, but it works outside of network marketing. So for any of you that have a traditional business or want to go into real estate or want to go into financial services or want to go into the insurance business, like I'm training people in all those different interests on top of this. So what I'm going to do is, this is on the Facebook Live that I'm doing. I'm going to put the link to this class. You know, you can go get the ticket. If you want to get into the MLM Millionaire class first and spend $25, then it's $49. So you're basically saving $25. If you just want the class itself and you got the rest of the training and you're good with everything, just go get the $99 class. Once it comes in, I'll send you the email. Congratulations, here's the PDFs, and get you into the Facebook group, and we'll go from there. But I appreciate everybody for jumping on. I hope this helped. If it did help, please comment below. Jump on the Facebook Live and comment and say, hey, here's the one tip that I got, because I'm wondering, you know, some people are like, this was great, but I don't know specifically what you got out of it. So if you can tell me, hey, here's what I got out of it, this is what I learned, that helps me kind of focus on that, and I'll dive more into it and maybe give you some more insight. So I appreciate everybody both for being on live, because we've had a bunch of people on live conference call and a bunch of people on Facebook. So I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. And if you want to instant message me and ask any more questions, please feel free. Turn off the recording.
This session is no longer being recorded.
And I hope it helps. Guys, have a great weekend, and we'll hope to see you on that class, or see you in that class next week. Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Doris. Thanks, Shar.